Is inflation really cooling off, or is it just hiding behind your rent, grocery bills, and energy costs? Welcome back to the Edwards Report. My name's Kaylin. Today we're going to expose where the prices are rising, where they're falling, and what it actually takes to survive in today's economy.
I am so tired of living my life in survival mode because despite having 2 college degrees and making close to $80,000 a year, I still cannot keep up with the cost of living. I still cannot afford all of my bills every month and have to live paycheck to paycheck. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. I am sacrificing my mental health, my time, and my energy to take care of people in their most vulnerable moments, and a lot of the time they do not make it. At the very least, I should be able to pay my bills. And for anyone who's thinking, oh, well, you shouldn't have chose that job, somebody has to do it. And you know damn well, if your loved one was critically ill, you would want somebody to take care of them, right? Something has to give. I cannot keep doing this.
I'm moving back into my parents' house at 23 years old, and let's fucking talk about it. I got this apartment about a year ago, and I had just graduated college. I graduated with a Bachelor in Arts of Psychology with a minor in Creative Writing and English. Now,
Yikes.
I'm sorry, but a 4-year psychology.
Yikes. Let's just see what she's about to say. I think I know where this is going.
Now, I'm sorry, but a 4-year psychology degree is absolutely useless unless you go forward with it. I didn't have money nor time to go forward with it, so I wanted to get straight into the job field, and I could always go back to school. So I went and I got a sales job, a corporate sales job, and it was obviously...
Which, I mean, in sales, the psychology, it might have worked out.
9 to 5, every single day, Monday through Friday, and... If anyone who works in sales knows that your first year absolutely sucks. I could not afford my own rent and my student loan payment just on the salary alone. It was around $47K, just to be fully transparent. It wasn't around, it was $47K, sorry. And before anyone fucking says, oh, dude, you weren't working. I worked 7 days a week. I got a part-time job serving on the weekends. So I would do Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, working in Jamaica, Queens, and going door to door. Not a good area, especially when you don't know how to parallel park, because I'm from Long Island. Anyways... Going there Monday through Friday, I would drive back in around 2 hours worth of traffic, and then on Saturday and Sunday, I would go and serve at a restaurant all day a double. And that still was barely getting me by. So I hated the job so much, and I was like, okay, this is like, I could make this somewhere else. I might as well find another job. I've wanted to be a teacher for a while now. I haven't been able to afford to go back to school. So I'm now a preschool teacher, right? Which I work Monday through Friday, actually 8 to like 6 o'clock sometimes. It really depends on the day. Usually it's 5:30, but 6 o'clock.
And you got to catch that, y'all. She's working until 6 p.m. in a daycare. We're talking, these kids are under 4 and under 5. People have to leave their kids in daycare until 6 p.m. just to work, just to make ends meet. There's something wrong with that, man. That's crazy.
Is how it goes. I also keep that serving job on the weekends because I cannot afford to live. I do not hang out with friends. I don't go out very often. I'm also not a drinker, so I don't go out and anything like that, right? I still cannot afford to live. I'm draining my savings, which I don't want to be doing in my 20s. I'm 23 years old. I want to be building my savings at anything. So I decided to move back with my parents for a year. I was very against it.
Smart.
Because me and my parents, we get along, but from a distance. But it was my last option, and the cost of living is absolutely insane despite working 7 days a week. If I even tried to get another job, it would have to be an overnight shift somewhere. That's not manageable when I have to get up as early as I do. It makes me mad when people say, oh, like, Gen Z is so lazy. I promise you I'm the least thing from lazy. I have a crippling fear of not doing enough. I actually hate not having something to do. I can't just relax and watch TV.
Her saying crippling fear was a very Gen Z thing to say. As a Gen Z, that, you know, we got our anxieties and mental health. It's just funny she said that. Not making light of it, but y'all just let me live.
I don't even watch TV unless my boyfriend's here. I am always cleaning. I am always doing something, or I am working. I never just sit down and relax. I think it's an anxiety thing. But at 23 years old, having a full-time job with benefits and all, I should be able to afford my living situation. Yet I can't, and I'm not the only one who has this shit. Any entry-level job is not enough money to live on. And it sucks. I'm going back to school to get my master's. And that is why I'm moving back with my parents, because I will not be able to work 7 days a week while taking a full thing of classes.
We also, I don't know, we be normalizing people perpetually staying in school as if that is the ticket to making more money. When, if y'all watch our videos over here at the Edwards Report, y'all will see so many people are getting useless degrees, staying in school as a way to delay, I would say, adolescence in some cases. And they just fail to launch. They never quite do anything. They don't make enough money, and they realize they wasted their time, but that's not it. They also got tons of student loan debt because there was no other way, they would say, to pay for school. When there are other ways, but you get the system working against you, plus bad decisions, plus, trying to delay adolescence, and then you're cooked. So let's talk about what it actually costs to live in America. The average U.S. household now spends over $61,000 a year just to live. That's $1,784 a month just on housing. Rent for a basic 2-bedroom apartment on average costs about $1,154 nationwide. But the real story? Well, it depends where you live. So go ahead right now and make a guess on where you think the most expensive states to live are. I'm going to tell you. 3, 2, starting off with number 1, Hawaii tops the list with a cost of living index that is 186.9. That is nearly double the national average. Coming in second and third are California and Massachusetts, which aren't very far behind, with average home prices nearing $785,000 and $628,000 respectively. You're not just paying for the weather, you're paying for broken supply, high taxes, and inflated lifestyles. So for all of you Californians, of which I am a former, hope you live in the Sunshine State. Meanwhile, Mississippi, Arkansas, and Oklahoma are 13 to 15% below the national average. And I'm going to give you guys some opportunities to guess why that's the case. You can get a house in Mississippi right now for around $177,000, and you can pay rent for just under $1,500. That sounds so good, but what does this mean for real people? Well, if you're single and you're renting, you need at least $2,566 per month just to get by. But if you're a homeowner with a mortgage, it's closer to $3,200 per month. And couples need around $4,300 per month just to maintain a basic lifestyle. People aren't going broke because they're lazy. Now, some people are lazy, but not everybody. They're going broke because everything costs more than it's worth. And what I think the deeper problem is, we talk about this here a lot, is that we've built a society where no one stops and asks, is this how my life is supposed to go? Is this God's design, his purpose for my life? No, because if you're working 60 hours a week just to survive, that is not provision. That is bondage. If you're working 65 hours a week, 60, 70, 80 hours a week just to survive, you don't even have the time to think about if where you're going is the right direction. You're tired all the time and you're not even making enough. And that's what you can hear in a lot of these clips.
Every time I think about or trying to move out my parents' house, the cost of living just get higher and higher. Like, insurance goes up, gas goes up, not to mention the fact that you got to make 3 times the rent of wherever you live at, which is kind of insane because the average person my age ain't even making what I'm making. Not to mention the fact that I check my pay stubs all the time. I'm not making as nearly as what I would make if they ain't take all them fucking taxes out of my checks every 2 weeks. Like, and I just been sitting here thinking, like, cause with me personally, when I moved out, I always wanted to move out by myself or with a significant other. And now I'm starting to realize when people move out, they get roommates. Or they move in college apartments with other people that they don't even fucking know of because the cost of living is too fucking high. How can I get a house these days? How can I get a house, bro? The average house is like 300 bands, you know what I'm saying? And like the average like monthly cost of it is like $2,500 a month. Like that's crazy. Like,
it's going to be very hard to get a house by yourself. That's why a lot of people are getting roommates, or they're getting married young and they're combining those incomes. It also really depends on where you live, but we'll get into that.
And me personally, I never agreed with having to have more than one source of income. In my opinion, you having more than one source of income should be a choice. It shouldn't be, I shouldn't need two sources of income to fucking survive. I'm 23, bruh. God damn.
Man, he looks tired too. I feel you, bro. I feel you. And I would like to say, hey, it gets better. And it might, you know, if you get a better job and you make more, it might get better. But when you start adding children to this, daycare costs, all the child care costs, food for extra mouths, whew, it ain't sweet.
Yeah, I am fucking 23. And I'm already like having a midlife crisis for real. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to move out my parents' crib, but I ain't trying to live check to fucking check. Like, I'm sitting here making more money than I ever made ever in my life in a year span. And it's still not enough for me to fucking move out and be able to fucking sustain a living. Like, we're doomed, bro. And they wait until we get grown to do shit like this. Like, yeah, it's over with, bro. It's over with.
I'm going to explain to you guys how much more expensive things are today than they were even 3 years ago based off of my current financial situation. So 4 years ago, when I graduated law school, I graduated making $65,000 a year. I was living in a 1-bedroom by myself.
That's it?
Paying
I thought lawyers made way more coming out. That's crazy.
$1,400 a month. After the first 3 months, my boyfriend moved in, and so then we were splitting it, so it was $700 apiece. But he lost his job at one point, and so for 3 months before he got a new one, I was covering the rent all by myself. So it was about 6 months of me paying $1,400 a month for that year-long lease. Now I make about $85,000 a year. I have 2 roommates, and we split the rent 3 ways. And usually my rent is like $950, something around that. So I'm making technically $20,000 more a year. I'm paying roughly the same of what I was paying in rent. And I have never been more stressed out about money in my entire life.
I went to the movies last night. I saw It Ends With Us. Amazing movie, by the way. Before the movie started, I was like, I am so thirsty. I need to go buy a water. I knew that it was going to be expensive. You know, probably $3, $4. I get up to the cash register and ask for a bottle of water. She rings me up. $7.50. Normal bottle, plastic bottle of water. $7.50. And to that, I say, if you are feeling like you literally can't get ahead financially and you are barely making it, you are not alone. And I know I talk about money and finances so much on my page, but it's simply because I have felt what it feels like to feel isolated and to feel behind financially. I think everyone in their 20s is freaking out and struggling to make it by right now. No matter how much money you're making, the cost of living is just so insanely high. All of that to say, just hang on tight, because I truly do believe that things will get better soon. And
I gotta tell you guys, I'm gonna show you real quick. I'm gonna show you. So I just took I took my sons, right? I have 2 of them, almost 7 and 5. And I took them to go see the Minecraft movie. I'm thinking right after school, you know, there might be a matinee. They're kids. You can't charge adult prices. How much could it really be? I'm thinking max, let's say each ticket is like $5 at this time where nobody's even at the theater. Maybe we get some popcorn. Maybe we get some drinks. I'm going to tell you exactly what we got. I got 2 waters, smart waters. I got 2 bags of candy, and we got a large popcorn, okay? And our tickets. Tell me why we spent about $60. $60 for all that. And the crazy thing is, the Minecraft movie been out for so long, I could probably watch it at home. I can go walk to the grocery store, pop some popcorn, put the Minecraft movie on. The water is free. And the candy is like $2. And I get it, you know, it is an outing, you know, it's an experience going to the movie theater. But I'm like, something that could have been $5 Even if I had to rent the movie off of like Amazon Prime Video or something that could have been like $5-10 ended up being $60. I remember growing up going to the dollar theater. I remember being able to go to the movie theaters and my parents weren't paying that much. I remember taking girls out on dates to the theater and I could get by with a 20, saving my lunch money all week just so I can blow it. And it was an extravagant movie. You can get all the candy, you can get the tickets, you can get everything for $20. Now, I won't even get one ticket.
Whatever y'all doing to pay y'all rent, I need y'all to let me know. I just want to say, like, I'm so proud of y'all who are able to pay y'all rent. Like, I salute y'all. I applaud y'all. I aspire to be like y'all, but I give the fuck up. I give all the way up because this is ridiculous. I cannot afford to get my nails done. I can't afford to get my hair done. I can't afford to get a wax. I can't afford to do anything. I can't afford to go nowhere. I barely got money for gas. My rent is $1,300 for a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom, probably like 620 square feet. It's little as shit. Y'all, it's not worth it. I've been having to do a payment arrangement on my phone bill, a payment arrangement for my Wi-Fi, a payment arrangement for the electricity. It's to the point where I wake up in a bad mood because I know I ain't got money to do nothing. My friends know not to ask me to do nothing. Don't ask me to go nowhere. Don't ask me, can I buy this? Christmas gifts, it's out the door. I'm not doing any of that. And I don't.
It's not funny, but she named everything. She literally named from the wax to the Christmas gift. Don't ask her for nothing.
Like that. I like being able to have money to go to a restaurant, to have money to give people gifts, to have money to give myself gifts. I don't like this at all. It's ghetto. Not to mention, I have no spouse. I have no government help. I don't have a roommate. It's just little old me.
Yeah, that's what she needs to do, though, is get a roommate. And I mean, I'm not sure. Obviously, we don't know what her family situation is. But someone as young as her, struggling as bad as she is, should be living with her parents. Now, that's probably not an option for her, but, you know, perfect world. Live with your parents as long as you possibly can, especially for single women. Y'all gonna probably say that sounds misogynistic or chauvinistic or whatever. You know, people always want to throw names around. But it ain't sweet out here for young women. It really ain't. And that's why you see so many of them probably doing OnlyFans. But, or get a roommate. It seems like everything right now is built for 2 incomes. So you either gonna get a roommate or you gonna get married and move in with somebody. Don't recommend shacking up, but you can see why people do it. Don't recommend it, but I see.
Trying to pay these bills and keep up with everything every single month. And the months are flying by. I cannot keep up. I gotta fight for extra hours at my job and I don't even want to be there. I done lost 25 pounds and I don't know if it's because I've been watching my calories or if it's because it's nothing to eat in the house. I'm living like I'm in my 30s when I'm nowhere near that. Nobody can tell me that that's normal. These prices normal. Groceries, not normal. Rent, not normal. None of this stuff is normal to me. I'm stressed out and I don't know what y'all finna do, but I'm finna move back in with my mama. My mama love me, so y'all gotta figure out what y'all about to do, but I'm not paying.
And it's like, imagine if she never would have moved out and she would have been saving that money. She would have been caking. She would have had a whole savings, a whole emergency fund. So let's talk about inflation, regional disparities, and the real root of the problem. So here's a twist that some of you guys probably weren't really expecting. The national inflation is technically down to 2.3%. But don't be fooled. That number hides the real pain that everyday Americans are experiencing. Electricity rose 0.8% just last month. Natural gas, it's up 3.7%. And groceries, well, they're still climbing. And in the Northeast, inflation is 3.1%, with housing up over 5%. Some cities like Peoria in Illinois saw a cost of living spike over 12% in a year. Now, if you're from there, go ahead and let us know what it's like to live there right now. Meanwhile, the Mountain West states like Utah, Colorado, Arizona saw housing costs rise twice as fast as the national average. That's pricing out entire generations of families. But in the Midwest and the South, inflation has cooled. Some areas are even seeing cost decreases. We're seeing that pandemic migration is actually starting to leak a little bit in certain cities. And that's the pattern. Where housing is unaffordable, everything becomes unaffordable. Renters struggle, families shrink, and cities become playgrounds for the rich. And I believe there's some biblical wisdom that we can apply to this situation. In Proverbs 21:20, the Bible says that the wise store up choice food and olive oil, but fools gulp theirs down. So how could we translate this in an applicable way for this situation? Well, if you're spending every single cent you have just to exist in a place, that place is eating your future right before your eyes, and you might need to move. Or at the very least, change your approach. Financial wisdom isn't about flexing in expensive areas and zip codes. It's about building where God provides margin, rest, and fruit.
Spilling the tea on how I afford my life being unemployed right now. So for those of you that don't know, I willingly quit my corporate job and I have 1.5 months off between jobs. I live in Toronto and we all know Toronto is so freaking expensive. Like somehow every time I leave my home, I end up spending like $100. And yes, part of that is because I have a spending problem. I've also done a bunch of traveling in my time off. Like I've been to London, Paris, New York. I'm in Vancouver right now and I'm going to Shanghai next week. So how do I afford my life? Let's start with traveling. My sister lives in London, so I don't have to pay accommodation when I go to London, and she feeds me for most of my meals. So the only thing I had to pay for was the plane ticket. For New York, I bought my plane ticket with points because I have so many from my credit cards. And I stayed with a friend for the majority of the trip, so my accommodation was mostly free. For Paris, I only went for a day trip, so I didn't have to pay for accommodation. I only paid for the train ticket from London to Paris. So in this time of unemployment, I have two main sources of cash. Number one is that I had a bunch of paid vacation days still at my last company, and they had to pay me out for those. And that amounted to like almost a month of income. Number two is savings. Yes, even though I am super frivolous with my spending, I do actually have savings. And the weeks leading up to me quitting, I knew I was going to quit. I knew I wasn't going to have sources of income soon. So I ended up like spending a bit less and saving a bit more in those weeks. And then also because I knew I was going to quit, I stopped contributing to all of my employee matching programs, such as Group RSP. And just by doing that, I got a bunch of extra liquidity per paycheck. I'm not going to lie, I am burning through cash pretty quickly because of all the traveling and spending. And now that I just have so much free time, I feel like I'm doing and eating so much more. And a big part of my spending and my ability to go travel and stuff like this is that I do have the comfort of knowing that I have a job lined up and I will have income again soon. And I'm also really just trying to like enjoy my time off and do everything that I want to do. Because like when am I going to have a month and a half off between jobs again? Like I don't plan on changing jobs again in the near future. So I'm really just trying to like make the most of this period. And yeah, that is how I am affording my life right now being unemployed.
This is one of those things I talk to my friends about, but I've never said publicly. Do you ever wonder how people are affording things? Like my husband and I do pretty decently. We own a home. We each have a car with car payments. We have a moderate amount of student loan debt. We have one kiddo. We live in a rural town outside of Portland, Oregon. I feel like as far as millennials go, we're probably pretty middle of the road. And I think our spending is probably pretty middle of the road too. I budget, I try to watch our bills. We don't do a lot of shopping, but Amazon shows up more than I'd like. But then I see people who are like regular, and by the way, no judgment passing on these. This is just me wondering how this.
Just pass the judgment. Just pass the judgment. Okay? Just be a little judgy.
Is possible. I see people who are regularly getting their nails done, regularly getting their hair done. They're constantly buying new home decor items. They're constantly buying new clothing that's on trend. Like I just watched a video of a woman talking about how her costs, for a pedicure are $200 for every pedicure. And like, while that's great, and I'm sure it's like a gorgeous pedicure, I don't doubt that the service is awesome. I'm just like, how is somebody affording to do that regularly? And
here's how I only make $1,400 in Manhattan, and I'm living okay. First of all, I live with two other roommates, and we live in East Harlem. The rent is pretty cheap. I pay $850 a month with utilities bills and like Wi-Fi, maybe like closer to $900, a little bit more. My other bills coming out. I don't have a lot of things going out, but I do have a storage unit and I do have ClassPass. That is the one thing for myself that I keep because it has me a gym membership and I get classes and it keeps me sane. And that is about $65 a month. So total bills, I would say like around $1,000 give or take. I should know. I know. Okay, I'm not good at budgeting, but if someone's asking me how I make it work, I'm not perfect, but this is how I do it. For groceries, I mostly shop at Trader Joe's and Target, occasionally at Whole Foods, but I never spend more than like 100 to 150 a month on groceries. So like maybe 50 to 60 every 2 weeks, give or take. Again, I don't budget the way that I should budget, but like I know what's in my account.
Hey, she's doing great though. Like, she's making $20,000 a year in Manhattan. You can spend that in a month there. So she's not giving herself enough credit.
And as far as pay, it's hard because it's not like a stable set pay. I work minimum wage, but I cover a lot of shifts. I was picking up a lot of extra this month, so it's a little bit higher. But I average $300 to $350 a week, and I immediately always put at least minimum $100 in my savings. So my savings is okay. It's not great, but I could pay rent for a few months if necessary. I don't have a ton of help from my parents. My mom does help me where she can, and that's usually like sometimes groceries or like a random expense like $20-$30 here and there. She'll help with my storage bill, which is $100 a month, things like that. So it does help. It takes a bit of a load off. So I would say maybe my total income for a month could be anywhere from $1,300 to $1,600. But let's say bills are $1,200 a month. That still leaves me with an extra $200 to $300 a month in spare. $100 away in savings. Okay, that's still an extra few $100s a month. Give or take $100 or $200 a month to spend freely. Unless you're shopping every fucking day and you're only shopping at Aritzia and like nice in stores and like always buying new things, then like yeah, you would be broke as fuck. But I don't. I will occasionally get a little new makeup, a little new skincare, but like it's just really not that hard to not spend your whole life. Like it is hard. I'm not discounting that New York it's very expensive. I lose my mind constantly being like, holy shit, how is this? I don't know how I'm doing it. I don't know how I'm doing it. But if you make $100,000 a year and you can't do it, you're just stupid. Sorry, but you're just dumb.
So here's the bottom line. The cost of living is more than just dollars. It's about direction. Do you want to look rich or do you want to live free? Are you chasing an image or are you building towards something eternal? Because the world's going to try and sell you a lifestyle that leaves you empty and in debt. But there's a better way. And that better way is to live below your means and to choose places and patterns that invest in your future, your family, and your faith. If you guys are feeling stuck, I get it. You want to work hard, but it's not just about hustling harder. Sometimes you need to pause, reevaluate, and ask God what's wise. So go ahead right now and leave a comment and tell me, would you move to a lower cost of living state if it meant that you could experience more freedom? Or what's been your biggest cost of living shock in 2025 so far? Let's talk about it in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching this video. Once again, I pray the Lord blesses you, that he keeps you, that he turns his face towards you, and that he gives you peace.